Good morning, students. Today we are going to discuss about the first chapter in the semiconductor devices subject, that is 18AI 105C. First chapter is PN junction diode. In this class, we try to discuss about the introduction of the PN junction diode. So, after completion of this first chapter, we try to understand what is the PN junction diode, where we are using, how the PN junction is formed, what is the P type material, what is the N type material. Regarding all these things, we try to get an idea in the first chapter. Let us start our topic. Objective for this class is, upon the completion of this topic, the students will be able to know electrical characteristics of conductors, insulators, and semiconductors. Which materials behaves as conductor or insulator or semiconductor? The meaning is characteristics of the different types of material we need to know. Different characteristics of conductor, insulator, semiconductor, behavior of conductor, insulator, semiconductor, we need to understand. Semiconductor devices. So what are these? We try to discuss. Based on electrical conductivity, the materials are classified as conductor, insulator, and semiconductor. All the materials which we have are generally classified as electrically. Why we are mentioning electrically means, whenever applying the power to these materials, how they are behaving. So depending electrically how they are behaving, depending on electrical conductivity. The meaning is whether they are passing the electricity freely, or whether they are not passing the current, or whether they are passing when the temperature increases. So this type of different characteristics we are discussing in this chapter. Electrical, based on the electrical conductivity, the materials are divided into three types. First one is the conductor, second one is the insulator, third one is the semiconductor. For the brief view, what is the conductor, what is the insulator, and what is the semiconductor. Conductor means whenever the current is passing through the material, if the material freely allows the current, that type of material is called as a conductor. Another one is the insulator. Insulator means whenever the current is passing through that material, if it opposes the flow of current, so that is called as a insulator. Semiconductor is another type of material. Whenever we are passing the current through the material, if the temperature increases, it allows the current. If temperature is at the room temperature, it may not allow the electronic flow. Like this, we having the different types of characteristics are there. We try to discuss in detail in the next slide. The next one is the conductors. So what is the conductor? Conductor is a material which conducts electricity easily. The materials which conducts the electricity easily, those materials are called as the conductors. Conduct means they will allow the electricity, or they will passes the electricity through them easily, are called as a conductors. Insulators. Insulators are the materials which are bad conductors of electricity. What is the meaning of insulator? Insulators are the materials which are bad conductor of electricity. Bad conductor of electricity means they do not allow the conduction of electricity. They do not allow the conduction of electricity through the material. That type of materials are called as a insulator. Examples are glass, rubber, quartz. Coming to the conductor, the examples are copper, silver, aluminum. That's why in our home needs or in anywhere for the conduction of the electricity, we use the copper, silver, aluminum materials. For the insulating materials are glass, rubber and quartz. Glass, rubber and quartz materials are there. The next specialized material is the semiconductors. Semiconductor is a material based on which material the electronics are dependent. The total electronic industry depends on the semiconductor. Because of the semiconductor property only, all the components of the electronic components are working. Semiconductors are the materials which are neither good conductors nor bad conductors of electricity. That is nothing but in the middle, which are not a good conductor nor a bad conductor. In the intermediate of the insulator and the conductor, that materials are called as in semiconductor materials. Examples are germanium and silicon. These semiconductor materials, whenever we apply the temperature, we increases the temperature of these materials behave like a conductor. So what main thing in these three materials is, main thing is free electrons. Depending on the free electrons only, the materials conducts the electricity. If a material having the more number of free electrons, that material is called as a conductor. If a material is having a less number of electrons, after applying the temperature, if the electrons are increases, that type of material is called as a semiconductor. If a material having a less or zero number of free electrons, even we apply the temperature also, there is no any movement of the electrons, that type of material is called as a insulating material. So the PN junction diode and whatever the materials are depends on the semiconductor material. The property of the semiconductor material is it is not a good conductor nor a insulator. Points to remember. Now we try to remember these things. The electrical conductivity of a material depends on the number of free electrons in that material. I already mentioned the conductivity of a material depends on the number of free electrons in that material. How many free electrons that material have? If it having the more number of free electrons, so then it is having the good conductivity. So that is called as a conductor has plenty of free electrons. The conductor has a plenty of free electrons. An insulator has a no free electron. An insulator has a no free electrons. Semiconductor has some free electron. Semiconductor having the some free electron. This is the difference of the different three materials according with the electrons. The conductor having the plenty of free electrons are there. Insulator having the no free electrons, and the semiconductor having the some of the free electrons. So what are the electrical characteristics of conductors? Now we try to discuss electrical characteristics of a materials. We have three materials: conductors, semiconductors, and insulator. Now, the resistivity of conductor is less. What is the electrical characteristics? First one is the resistivity. So, what is meaning of resistivity? Resistivity means this is the property of the material whenever current flowing through them. This is the opposition of flow of electrons. Opposition of flow of current is called as a resistivity. That resistivity of the conductor is very very less. It lies in the range between 10 power minus 8 ohms to 10 power minus 6 ohms. 10 power minus 8 ohms meters to 10 power minus 6 ohms meters. The next one is the conductivity of the conductor is more. I already said that the conductivity means it having the more number of free electrons. So the conductivity of the conductor is more. It lies in the range between 10 power 6 Siemens per meter to 10 power 8 Siemens per meter. So S is indicated by the conductivity. No forbidden energy gap between valency band and conduction band. No forbidden energy gap between valency band and conduction band. Here we need to discuss about the two types of band, valency band and conduction band. Each and every atom having the outer or valency orbital is there. In the atoms, in the matter, if you take in the matter is nothing but a combination of all the atoms. If the all the valency orbital are combines, that orbital is called as a valency band. The outer orbital combiningly with the other atoms in the matter is called as a valency band. The conduction band is in the band where free electrons are there. That band is called as the conduction band. The gap between the valency band and conduction band is called as the forbidden gap. The gap between the valency band and conduction band is called as a forbidden gap. The meaning is, if you apply this forbidden energy to the valency band electrons, the electrons may goes into the conduction band. If you apply that amount of energy, the valency electrons become as a conductive electron, so that conduction will be increases. The conductor have 1 or 2 or 3 free valency electrons. So generally these conductor having the each atom having 1, 2 or 3 free valency electrons are there. So that it having the resistivity is less, conductivity more, forbidden gap is 0. Forbidden gap is 0. So this is about the electrical characteristics of conductor. Next one is the electrical characteristics of insulator. What are the electrical characteristics? The resistivity of insulator is more. It lies in the range of 10 power 20 ohm meter to 10 power 18 ohm meter. The resistivity, because there is no free electrons, that's why it having the resistivity is more. The conductivity of insulator is 0. We can say that negligible. The conductivity of insulator is negligible. It lies in the range of 10 power minus 18 Siemens per meters to 10 power minus 12 Siemens per meter. The meaning is the insulator does not have any free electrons, so there is no conductivity. The forbidden gap between valency band and conduction band is up to 6 electron volts. 6 electron volt is a very high energy gap. If you try to apply 6 electron volts to that particular material, it may burn, it may, what you say, it may burn itself because of that 6 electron volts. So the meaning is the forbidden gap is 6 electron volts. We never overcome this forbidden gap energy. So it have full filled valency band and conduction band. Insulator materials having the fully filled valency band and conduction band is there. So there is no electron movement in the insulators. That's why having the resistivity is more, conductivity is less. Forbidden gap is 6 electron volts, and the valency band and conduction band having full electrons are filled in that bands. The next and important one is semiconductor. Electrical characteristics of semiconductor. So electrical characteristics of semiconductor means the resistivity of semiconductor is less than insulators but more than conductors, lies in the range of 10 power 0 ohm meter to 10 square ohm meter. The meaning is the semiconductor having some number of free electrons are there, so it may don't have less resistivity or high resistivity, but in middle it having the resistivity. The resistivity of semiconductor is less than insulator but more than conductors, lies in the range of 1 ohm meter to 100 ohm meter with having the resistivity. Next, coming to the conductivity. So same way, conductivity of the semiconductor is more than insulator and less than conductor. Its conductivity is more than insulator but less than conductors. It lies in the range of 10 power minus 2 to 10 power 0 Siemens per meter. So what the semiconductor having property is it having partially filled valency band and conduction band. The conduction band and valency band are partially filled. The meaning is some of the vacancies are there, but in the insulator there is no vacancy, fully filled there. If you wanted to move valency band to conduction band, we need to apply 6 electron volts in the insulator, but coming to the semiconductor we need to apply 1.1 electron volts. That is the forbidden gap between conduction band to the valency band is 1.1 electron volts. The meaning is if you want to send the valency electrons to the conduction band or conduction electrons, we need to apply the 1.1 electrons volt energy to that particular material. So this is the advantage of the semiconductor material. The advantage is the resistivity of semiconductor is less than insulator but more than conductor. The conductivity of the semiconductor is more than insulator and less than conductor. These have a partially filled valency band and conduction band. The forbidden gap energy is up to 1.1 electron volts. Now we try to summarize what we discussed in previous slides. So in the previous slides what we discussed, that we have discussed about materials, how they behave as conductor and insulator or semiconductor. So materials, how the materials are classified, how they are behaved as a conductor, as a insulator, as a semiconductor. electrical characteristics of also discussed about electrical characteristics of insulator, conductors and semiconductor. So now we try to discuss about atomic structure of the atom. What is the atomic structure? Classification of solids, conductors, semiconductors, insulators, atomic structure. So we try to discuss all these conductors, semiconductor, insulators in the form of atomic structure. What are the different atomic structures? What we know from this atomic structure? So what is the atomic structure? Already you know this atomic structure. According to Bohr, the maximum number of electrons occupied by the K shell is 2. The maximum number of electrons occupied by the L shell is 8. The maximum number of electrons occupied by the M shell is 18. The maximum number of electrons occupied by the N shell is 32. The meaning is we need to divide it into the atom in the atomic number with respect to the number of orbital, k orbital, l orbital, m orbital, n orbital, or k shell, l shell, m shell, n shell. From the beginning, k having the 2 1s2, l having the 1s2 2s2 2p6, m having the 1s2 2s2 2p6, 3s2 3p6 3d10, n having the 1s2 2s2 3s2 3p6 3d10, 4s2 4p6 and 4d6 also there. Like that we having the orbital filling with the electrons. Maximum number of electrons in outermost orbit is 8. Outermost orbital having the maximum number of orbitals is 8. The outermost orbital is also known as valency orbital. Now I already explained that valency band and conduction band, that is valency orbit. The outermost orbit is known as valency orbit. The electrons in the outermost orbit is known as valency electrons. The electrons in the outermost orbital is known as valency electrons. So what is this is the meaning means, generally why we discuss about the atomic structure means, in the material or in the solid structure, each atom having its own valency orbital is there. If in the valency orbital it may having the free electrons, then the free electrons are used for the conductions. That way we try to discuss about the valency electrons. So maximum number of electrons in outermost orbit is 8. The outermost orbit is known as valency orbit. The electrons in the outermost orbit is known as valence electron. So now we try to discuss about the atomic structure of silicon atom. Silicon atomic structure. First we need to know atomic number. Atomic number of silicon is 14. Atomic number of silicon is 14. Therefore, number of electrons in silicon is 14. Number of electrons in the silicon is 14. Now we try to distribute to the orbital. The first one is the 1s2. Next one is the 2p6. Next one is the we having like that. The 14 electrons should be distributed. How this we have 2 plus 8 plus 2 plus 8 10, the remaining is the 4. We may have outer orbital having the 4 electrons are there. Is the there in the at the near the nucleus we having the 2. After that we having the 1 2s2 2p6 8. Next one is 3s2 3p2. We are having the 4 electrons in the orbital. So now we try to discuss how we divided solids into different ways. The solids are differentiated, or classification of solids are in 3 types. Solids are classified into 3 type of materials. First one is the conductor, second one is the insulator, third one is the semiconductor. Conductor, semiconductor, insulator we already discussed. So what are there we try to discuss. Coming to the conductor, so you know that conductor, if it having the free electrons, that material is called as conductor. Number of valency electrons are less than half of maximum valency electrons. That is, number of valency electrons are less than half of maximum valency electrons, that is less than 4 electron. Less than half of maximum valence electron means, you know that the maximum electrons in the valency is the 8. In the 8, half of the maximum valency electrons is 4, that is less than 4. If the electrons are less than 4 in the outer orbital or valency orbital, so then that type of materials are called as a conductor. Example, metals like copper, aluminium, silver, their resistivity lies between 10 power minus 12 to 10 power minus 16 ohm meter. The conductor means number of valency electrons are less than half of maximum valency electron. Less than half of maximum electrons, that is less than 4 electrons, is called as the conductors. Next one is the insulator. Already you know the insulator. Number of valency electrons are greater than half of maximum valency electron. Greater than half of maximum valency electron, that is more than 4 electrons, then it is called as an insulator. If less than 4 electrons is called as the conductor, greater than 4 electrons is called as the insulator. Example is wood and rubber, their resistivity lies between 10 power 8 to 10 power 12 ohm meter. 10 power 8 to 10 power 12 ohm meter. The next one is the semiconductors. So semiconductor number of valency electrons are exactly equal to half of maximum valency electrons, that is equal to 4 electrons, is called as a semiconductor. Semiconductor means the number of valency electrons of the atom is equal to 4 electrons or equal to maximum number of valency electrons is known as semiconductor. So that is equal to 4 electrons. Example is silicon, germanium. Their resistivity lies between the 1 to 100 ohm meter. The resistivity lies between the 1 to 100 ohm. So this is called like the semiconductor. So what we discussed is atomic structure and the number of free electrons of the conductor, semiconductor, insulator. So in this presentation we have discussion on the following topics, that is atomic structure, classification of solids, conductors, semiconductors, insulators we discussed here. Next we try to discuss about energy level diagrams. So on completion of this explanation you will be able to understand energy level diagram of conductor, semiconductor and insulator. Now we are going to discuss about the energy level diagram of conductor, semiconductor, insulators. So energy band in solids, you can see how we can write the energy bands in the solids. You can see energy level which is measured in terms of electron volts. You can see the orbital, first orbital n is equal to 1, n is equal to 2, n is equal to 3, n is equal to 4. Each orbital having its own forbidden energy gap is there. Each orbital having its own forbidden energy gap is there. Whenever the electron want to move from one orbital to another orbital, we need to apply the energy. If then it will acquire that energy, and that energy is nothing but the forbidden gap, that when that forbidden gap reaches, it will move from one level to the another level. So you can see the orbital and the relation between each orbital. The upper orbital or the outer orbital is called as a valency orbital. So we can easily remove the electrons from the valency orbital, but we don't take the electrons from the nearer, that is n equal to 1 orbital. That is a difficult. The range of energies possessed by electrons is known as energy band. So what is the meaning of the energy bands is the range of energies, the different ranges of energies possessed by electrons is known as energy band. Energy bands are separated by an energy gap known as forbidden energy gap. The meaning is each energy band is separated by an energy. Each energy band are separated by an energy gap known as forbidden energy gap. Forbidden energy gap. So important energy bands in solids are lower field energy bands. You can see. So only main important energy bands are the valency band and the conduction band. The outer orbital only the very important, because if you wanted to remove any electron, we can remove from the outer orbital only. We can't remove the electrons from the inner orbitals. So the first you can see is the valency band, conduction band. So that is the range of energies possessed by the valency electron is known as valency band. The range of energies possessed by the valency electrons is known as valency band. Range of energies possessed by the conduction is known as conduction band. Is known as the conduction band. The gap between the energy band is known as forbidden energy gap. For the solids, we need to remember this diagram in order to write the energy level band diagram of conductor, semiconductor, insulator. Once again, we try to see this one. So what we have in the valency band, the first one is valency band. So what is the meaning? The range of energies possessed by the valency electron is known as valency band. Next one is the conduction band. The range of energies possessed by the conduction electrons is known as conduction band. The forbidden gap. The gap between energy band is known as forbidden energy gap. The gap between two valency bands or two bands is known as the forbidden energy gap. So energy bands in insulator. Energy bands in insulator. How we can construct the energy bands in the insulator? Already you know that valency band is conduction band is fully filled in the insulator. So now we can see is valency band is full and conduction band is empty. Valency band is fully filled and conduction band is empty. The energy gap between valency band and conduction band is very high, that is a 6 electron volts. The meaning is large energy gap more than 6 electrical volts if we apply to the material, so then only it will most from the electrons move from the valency band to the conduction band in the insulator. This is a very difficult to provide the energy of 6 electrons volts. So this diagram indicates the energy bands in insulator. Energy bands in insulator. Energy band diagram is nothing but here we having the valency band and conduction band, and the gap between valency band and conduction band is known as forbidden energy gap we have. So energy bands in semiconductor, how it is already you know. Semiconductor also like that. So here we having the valency band. After valency band, partially filled valency band is there. Conduction band also partially filled conduction band. The conduction band also partially filled in the semiconductors. So little energy gap, that is 1 electron volts, if we apply to the semiconductor material, so then the electrons will be flows here. Partially filled valency band, partially filled conduction band. Little energy gap around 1 electron volt is there in between the conduction band and valency band. If you apply the 1 electron volts energy to the semiconductors, then the valency electrons are moves into the conduction band and the semiconductor becomes like a conductor. At 0 degree centigrade it acts as a insulator. At 0 degree centigrade the semiconductor is act as a insulator. The next one is energy bands in semiconductor. Energy bands in conductors. Now we see the energy bands in the conductor. So coming to the conductors, there is no gap between the valency and conduction bands. Each valency band and conduction bands are overlap each other. The meaning is we need not to give extra electrical voltage to move the electrons from valency band to the conduction band. That's why conductor will conduct freely, semiconductor will conduct slowly, and insulator will conduct zero. That is the energy bands in the conductor. So conduction band, valency band. So these two bands are overlapping each other. The energy gap is no. Valency and conduction bands are overlapped each other. No energy gap is there. No energy gap is there. So now we try to discuss about the types of semiconductors. So we discussed about the energy band diagram of the insulator, conductor, semiconductor. Based on the outer orbital, valency orbital electrons, we will decide the electrical properties of the materials. So if the outer orbital having the more number of free electrons, that material is called as a conducting material. If the outer valency and conduction is fully filled, that is called as a insulator. if if the outer valency and conduction is partially filled, that is called as a semiconductors. Now we try to discuss about the types of semiconductors. We try to discuss atomic structures of the semiconductor, what are the electrons it have, how they became different way. We try to discuss types of semiconductors. Semiconductors are can be classified as two types. First one is the intrinsic semiconductor. Second one is the extrinsic semiconductor. Intrinsic semiconductors are called as pure form of the semiconductor is called as a intrinsic semiconductor. So what is the meaning of intrinsic? Means in this material there is no other materials are added, that is called as a impure metals will not be added to the basic semiconductor material, so that is called as a intrinsic material. So what is the disadvantage of intrinsic semiconductor? Means intrinsic semiconductor having the less number of free electrons, almost all at room temperature. These intrinsic semiconductors are act as a insulator. Whenever temperature increases, this intrinsic semiconductors behaves like a conductor. So in order to avoid these things, we try to add some of the impurities to the intrinsic semiconductors. If we add different impurities, then we may having that type of semiconductors are called as a extrinsic semiconductor. The meaning of extrinsic means if you add the impurities to the semiconductor, that semiconductor is called as a extrinsic semiconductor. Depending adding the impurities to the semiconductor is classified into two types, that is extrinsic semiconductors are further classified as N-type semiconductor, P-type semiconductor. N-type semiconductor and P-type semiconductor. Now we try to discuss about the intrinsic semiconductor energy band diagram. You can see intrinsic semiconductor energy. We have conduction band and valency band. In middle we having the Fermi level. Fermi level lies in the middle. That is the meaning of the Fermi level. The electrical energy gap is lies in between the conduction band and the valency band. So if you add the impurity to these semiconductors, the Fermi level may decrease, they increase or decreases depending on our adding the impurities. This is the intrinsic semiconductor energy band diagram. Conduction band we having, the valency band we having, the Fermi level is in between the conduction band and the valency band. Coming to the extrinsic semiconductor, when we add an impurity to pure semiconductor to increase the charge carriers, then it becomes an extrinsic semiconductor. The meaning is in order to improve the charge carriers, we are adding the external impurities to the pure semiconductor are known as the extrinsic semiconductor. In extrinsic semiconductor, without breaking the covalent bonds, we can increase the charge carriers. Without breaking the covalent bonds, we choose the charge carriers. Here we having the N-type semiconductor and the P-type semiconductor. You can see the N-type semiconductor energy band diagram. N-type means it having the more number of free electrons are there. The valency band and the conduction band Fermi level is lies nearer to the conduction band. The Fermi level in the n-type semiconductor is lies nearer to the conduction band. Coming to the p-type semiconductor, when we add trivalent impurities, when we add pentavalent impurities, when we add pentavalent impurities, n-type semiconductor is formed. We discuss in detail in the next class. Now we try to discuss about the energy band diagram. So coming to the p-type semiconductor, when we add a trivalent impurity to pure semiconductor, we get the p-type semiconductor. You can see gallium, pure silicon. If you add this, we may get the p-type semiconductor. P-type semiconductor energy band diagram. You can see in the p-type we may have, in the trivalent means number of holes are more compared to the electrons. So the Fermi level is nearer to the valency band. Fermi level is nearer to the valency band. Fermi level is nearer to the valency band. So once again we try to discuss what we discussed. In this presentation we have to discussion on the following topics, that is energy levels in the solids, what are the different energy levels, and we also discussed about the energy bands in the solids and valency band, conduction band, energy bands in the solids, valency band, conduction band, forbidden energy levels. These are the main words which we are used in the energy bands: valency band, conduction band, forbidden energy levels, and Fermi levels also there. Fermi levels, and we also discussed about the conduction bands of the, we discussed about the energy band diagrams of the conductors, insulator, semiconductor, and also we discussed about the intrinsic semiconductor, extrinsic semiconductor, that is p-type semiconductor, n-type semiconductor, n-type semiconductor, energy level, energy band diagram we discussed. We discussed about the energy band diagram. We discussed about the energy band diagram of conductor, semiconductor, insulator, intrinsic semiconductor, extrinsic semiconductor. So in the next class we try to discuss about how the p-type material, n-type materials are formed, and by using them what we are doing, we are going to discuss in the next class. Thank you.